Balance is a fickle thing, to the point where people say it's impossible to reach a standard of balance in an isometric game like Villainous. I agree with this thought, as the basic nature of Villainous is to pit different characters against each other, seeing how their gimmicks mesh and how they can counter each other, leaving some matchups in favor for the former and some for the latter. However, I can feel that on this slippery slope of gimmicks and isometric gameplay, there stands an outlier in the current curated customs of our own Disney Villainous mod. Hey, I'm Fallen Meep, and today I'm talking about Yoshikage Kira is a character feature of the Not My Dance Villainous mod under the Curation list. He was released during the Red-Headed expansion and was made by Lex. He sits as a moderately complex villain according to the Villain's Custom Evaluation team. His objective is to spend 3 turns in his realm without heroes, having bomb tokens, an alternate way to vanquishing to take out heroes easier. So what tickles my tummy the wrong way about Yoshikage Kira that I want to make this video? Well, I can explain it in 3 points. His objective, his dominating playstyle and cards, and his below average fate deck. I don't hate Yoshikage Kira, and I think his concept and change to the villain formula bring a lot of creativity that isn't seen a lot, even on an official level, the closest being Scar, that focus on hero defeating. However, even though I can accept his concept as creative, I've come to the conclusion that Yoshikage Kira just has a lot of issues in his current build. My first point, that being his simple objective. Simplicity can be the birthplace of complexity, and Kira's objective is to spend 3 turns alone unbothered by heroes. This objective doesn't need to be done in a row, and he even starts with a hero in his realm that has special conditions to be defeated, so he can't win so fast. The objective is a problem because of how Yoshikage Kira has to be structured now to win an average match of Villainous. Yoshikage Kira's objective will be lurking behind every other point I make in this video, being the basic backbone of this whole argument. My second point is his dominating playstyle in his deck. In Villainous, there's a sense of domination when a villain is making good progress towards their objective. This could be as simple as Mother Gothel getting Hairbrush and specific cards in her hand, to Pete setting up his realm perfectly to resolve multiple goals on his next turn. All these villains create domination as a byproduct of either luck, strategy, or a character specialist that knows their character inside and out. But what Yoshikage Kira provides is a villain who was, from the beginning, built to be a character that is meant to dominate. See, to dominate, you also need to weaken counterplay and make your path to victory easier. When a villain is built to dominate, you get situations where they force players to fade earlier than expected, they have unstoppable ramp, and destroy the fun and replayability that Villainous prides itself on. Kira has a playstyle that influences the weakening of the fate action. Because he wants no heroes in his realm, a lot of his tools result in either weakening the attempts to fight against him, or making counterplay near impossible or even useless, resulting in some of the best times to fate him is at the start of the game when he is at his weakest. However, that doesn't even work most of the time. A villain playing for their objective and trying to win is different from a villain dominating the game. One of them is playing the game, and another is a byproduct of many factors, the issue for Kira being that since he is built to dominate his opposing players, he starts to develop issues gameplay-wise both on his board and other players trying to play against him. This all stems from what I believe to be his objective. Here are some examples. Let's take a look at Yuya Funigami, a 3-cost, 4-strength ally in his deck. Yuya Funigami is an example of the made-to-dominate playstyle I'm speaking against. While rest assured, Yoshikage Kira lacks power gain in his realm, it matters little to what Funigami can create when used in the intended manner. Funigami has the ability to make it so that heroes cannot be played to Yoshikage Kira's realm for a turn, usually resulting in either a turn of rest or, the bigger problem, getting a free no-heroes turn or even winning the game. The way he comes across his ability is by being used in a vanquish action. He has 4 strength, so he has nothing to worry about when it comes to defeating heroes. The issue now comes down to the shutdown of counterplay. This whole card's design is to be played and give Kira a free objective turn, which rings worse during either the turn he's played, or even if he's played it goes to ally, allowing the most likely result to be an instant without even a turn buffer for his opponents to react. This is made worse when the only 2 heroes, Rohan Kishibe, and Okayashu Nimura, counter this one ally out of many that I feel step into this hole of domination, and Kishibe being especially designed to return him back after being defeated on the villain who was designed to defeat heroes quickly. This means Yuya, this one ally out of so many, does so much because they're basically the only counterplay here is either one hero to permanently remove them, or just not playing heroes, which is not a possibility when trying to shut down Kira's engine. Some of the other problem allies are Tenesuko Miyamoto and Maisano Kinoto, Miyamoto being a big shutdown for a big, but ultimately useless, part of this fate game, that being the movement of heroes, and Kinoto being much of the same. One of the main ways Kira places bomb tokens, the easier tool to defeat heroes with, are his stands. When moving, you may either place 1 or 2 bomb tokens, depending on how developed your stand Killer Queen is, Killer Queen having an upgrade called Bites the Dust. In itself, Killer Queen is not bad design. A card like No Identity turns them from a good tool into an oppressive force. No Identity lets you move to a new location and perform an action at that location. Not only is No Identity allowing an additional action economy to Kira, it allows Kira stands to leave heroes decimated in your realm. Not even adding the fact that since Queen activates first before No Identity's action is forced upon a player, they get a very real chance to handle their threat and have a small picnic of actions to perform instead of being forced and weaker set of 2. Some more key effects that promote this playstyle to a horrible degree are Will to Survive, a 2-cost effect that cuts down the revealed fate cards just to 1, just encouraging more of the same mentality to not fake Kira, but universally resulting to eventually that you have to fake Kira because of just his amazing board setup. This is all to say that I feel like a villain that is built to dominate his opponents just doesn't work well, as it just results in them weakening their opponents' attempts to try to stop him from winning. It never feels good to have a fate, which his deck promotes a lot, and then be faced with the reality that this villain is built to make your counterplays weak but still have to try to pull out this fate because of this twin crossroads that is either at an at-odds fate or a loss. The fact that even though Kira is already somewhat of an unstoppable fate-manipulating oppressive force, the straw that breaks the camel's back is the underwhelming fate deck. Oh boy, we have a lot to cover. Let's start with Jotaro Kujo, a well-meaning but just pointless counter to Kira's stands. While Kujo has all the right intentions of being that main hero stopper by denying Kira the stand for a turn, he's one of many cards in this fate deck that needs so much fate luck to pull off. For Kujo to work, Kira first needs to have his stand out, ruling Kujo useless in the early game. Kujo denies his stand for a single turn, meaning that even if you have to stop Kira for 1 turn, 9 times out of 10 you will be forced to fake Kira again if he's made even a single inkling of progress towards his objective, not even showing off that allies can still be used in vanquish actions, and heroes are basically not invincible still. Yoshikage Higashikage is slightly better, allowing a hero from Kira's fate discard pile to be played. On paper, Higashikage would be one of the best cards in his fate gameplay, due to the part of the deck that he wants to get rid of heroes, with the caveat that just supports luck in a villain that, when fated, feels like playing the slots. Higashikage would be a great card in any other villain, but because of the luck and the realm domination Kira already has, he's kicked to the wayside, being best a wind denial, and at worst on the top deck without recovery due to the rest of the fate deck doing nothing else to support the counter-attack notion. Crazy, Nosy, Bizarre Town, and Chase go hand in hand for my points. Crazy, Noisy, Bizarre Town is a card that allows each hero to lose 2 bomb tokens if they already have 2 or more bomb tokens on them already. While I already don't see this as an amazing card because of Kira's Tough as Nails villain deck allowing counterplay in a turn, what the bane of this card is it's 4 copies in the fate deck. Chase is a card that allows you to move up to 2 heroes from Kira's realm to his location. Chase just being a bad card to get, since Kira's villain deck is stacked to deal with heroes anywhere, and cards like No Identity not caring if heroes are at his location. Chase has 3 copies, leaving us with 7 extremely weak cards in Kira's fate deck, leaving them to either take a spot of a very important game-saving hero being pulled during Will to Survive in effect, or even just getting 2 of them together combined, resulting in the former doing most possibly nothing and the latter putting you in a worse position than you were in before. Phew. That was a lot, huh? I spent the past couple nights writing the script up and even longer recording this audio and most likely even editing this video, and I'm safe to say I didn't expect to have so much to talk about for one villain. Yoshikage Kira, I feel, is just, at this moment in time, a flawed villain currently on the curation list, and I feel I wouldn't be doing this video just if I didn't provide some of my own suggestions of how I would see a balance fix. These fixes aren't going with the idea of even changing the objective because I really don't have the skills or confidence to redesign a whole villain, but I hope this won't be a Kira hate fest. And as well as, I'm not Kira's creator, Lex created him, and he obviously has the most insight, and I guess also RPM as well. Make Jotaro Kujo so that heroes cannot be affected by his stands at his location. I feel like this solves a problem of him being too weak in general and provides some different gameplay for Kira, now being a reverse Remy. This really allows the protection of heroes and forces him to now start using his allies. Of course, there's still a problem with his allies, but having this be played it's a good counterplay at least, and will at least assist his late game and stop him for a little bit so other villains can catch up to him. Either give Crazy Noisy Bizarre Town and Chase new abilities or reduce their copies. The former being making them just more useful cards, and the latter most likely not possible due to how just Kira's objective works. Yoshikage Kira is what I like to call a villain that was designed to be a dominator, and one that has a fundamental flaw resulting in paradoxes of design choice. I hope for the future when he gets inevitably changed and updated, we can see some more positive changes to this guy, and we can see him be a better villain for my court of opinions. Once he is, I'll make a short follow-up video including all his changes in my opinion if they didn't change for the better. And honestly, thank you all for watching this, if you've stuck around. This is the first video essay I've ever done. I've had more in progress, obviously, but if this would be put out, the first, this would be my first video essay on a villain, and I hope to make more someday in the future. However, this has taken so long to make, and it's been multiple months since I've recorded this audio over the span of time just because of so much schoolwork that I have. But I really do want to make more villain essays, maybe even a little bit more casual. I know the visuals editing in this is probably not going to be the highest degree, maybe just TTS or a bit of normal editing, but this was my first villain review, and I'm so happy to finally get this put out. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.